Hi everyone, welcome back to Megan's Creative Arts. Today we are going to be doing the Enchanted Beads blanket. And as always, I will go ahead and write the directions below. So this is what it looks like. These little beads. I used kind of a self-striping yarn. So I used for this one the Lion's brand Mandalay bonus bundle. You can see I only used the inner portion. Once I got to the blue, I kind of finished this little sample. So let's see, this is acrylic and it's called Spirit. I did use a 5mm hook, which is the suggested size when using this yarn. So let's go ahead and get started. This would look great in any color. So we're gonna work on this today. I hope everyone enjoys it. Put it off to the side. As always, we're gonna start with a random color. I'm not gonna change colors in this one, but we're gonna just make our little slip knot. For the tutorial, I am using a 5.5mm, and I am using the Big Twist 100% acrylic. Suggested hook is a 5mm. I'm actually going to use the 5.5, but this is just kind of a standard white color. You can't get this anymore. It was a Joann yarn. Unfortunately, they are closed, but I still have some of their skeins. So to start, for the Enchanted Beads blanket, you're going to need to chain a multiple of 2. For a full blanket size, you would do approximately 126. This one, I believe I did 90. So you just make it as wide as you would like. But we're going to start by chaining in multiples of 2. And for this tutorial, I'm probably going to do about 20. Now, this is a 2-row repeat. So 2, 4. And if you are a beginner, I am not going to recommend this. Okay, so I just chained 30. Again, if you're a beginner, I'm not going to recommend this. This beading stitch is a little tricky, and you'll see as we go. So we're going to start in the second chain from the hook, and we're going to do a half double crochet in every chain across. Now, if you, I just have trouble with this first one. I hate the first couple rows getting started. As long as you are a loose crocheter, like your stitches are not too tight, you'll have an easier time. You'll see kind of what I mean as we go. Once we get to the row 2, which is where we do our beading. So I'm going to meet you at the end of my row. You're just going to do a half double crochet in each chain across, and I will see you at the end of this first row. Okay, I am at the very end of my row 1, and so all I did was a half double crochet in each chain across. So for row 2, and please ignore my dogs, we're going to chain 3 and turn. Now this chain 3 is basically for looks. It is just a turning chain. We are not going to be using it at all. All right, so we are going to go into the second stitch, so 1, 2, and we're going to do a double crochet. This is going to be basically the post that you do your beading stitch on. So after your double crochet, you're going to go around this double crochet that you created. So we're going to yarn over, go around it, yarn over and pull up a loop. You want to be loose with these loops because you're going to end up coming back through them all. You're going to yarn over again. We're going to do this a total of 4 times. Yarn over and pull up a loop. So there's 2 times we went through. So we have 5 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, do it again. That's 3. Yarn over one more time and 4. So we are going to have, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 9. Now if you did this real tight, you are not going to be able to pull this through, and you might have to try again. Then we're going to skip a stitch and double crochet in the next stitch. So here's what we're going to be doing all the way across. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Remember, we want to be loose with our loops. Yarn over, go around your double crochet, pull up another loop, that's 2. Yarn over, pull up a loop, that's 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, that's 4. And then we'll yarn over and go through all 9 loops. Again, we're just doing a double crochet, work our bead stitch, and then again the directions will be listed below, but we yarn over, pull up a loop 4 times. This one you kind of have to think about a little more. That's why I'm not calling this a beginner stitch. But we're going to keep going all the way to the end. And 4. And pull through. One of mine was a little tight. There we go. So if you just wiggle your hook just a tiny bit, you should be able to get it through unless it's real tight. So I'll show you what I mean. So here's a double crochet. So if I do it tighter, so my hook is closer, I'm not pulling up as much. There's 3 and 4. When I try to, I was able to wiggle through, but I've had it catch on another loop in here, and then I can't really pull it through, and I end up snagging or getting the wrong loop to come through, and it just looks a little weird. So you do want to keep these loops loose on your bead stitch. So pull on it if you need to. 3 and 4. There we go. We just keep going all the way across. Before I forget, if you like this video and want to see more like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already. I like finding new and interesting patterns. So this is actually a new one. And that sample that I showed you at the beginning was actually my first time doing it. So it's pretty fun. So I would definitely make this as a throw. If I could figure out how to do it as a little shawl, that would probably be cute, or even a bag. It's a great stitch. 3 and 4. Alright, so I'm almost to the end of mine. Hopefully you are enjoying this stitch. Again, this does take some practice, so if you don't get it the first time, that's perfectly fine. It took me a little while. 3 and 4. And trust me, I did have to take out some of my bead stitches. So I am at the very last half double crochet. So all I'm going to do is chain 3 into this space. I'm sorry, I'm going to do a double crochet into this space. So this is what rows 1 and 2 look like. So I'm just going to chain 1 and turn. These chain spaces that we do for turning, again, they do not count as anything other than for looks and turning. So I'm going to do a half double crochet in each space all the way across. Since I was just using the smaller yarn, it's catching just a little. This is a little bit bigger yarn than in my example. Now, the important part is getting your last stitch in, because we're again not going to use the chaining turning stitch. And I've done it both ways where I accidentally put half double crochet into that chain 3 turning space, and it kind of messed up the next row. I just want to show you what I mean. so I'm almost at the end of row 3. So basically you're going to be repeating rows 2 and 3 until your desired length. I think in my example I did probably close to 40, maybe just over 40 rows. Okay, so here's the end. So I'm going into this last, this is the double crochet space that we had from the previous row. So again, I'm not using these chain 3 spaces. If you add another, it's going to start bowing out your design, and you'll have an extra space here at the other end when you do your beading on the next row. So do not use the chain 3 space to put a stitch in. So again, I'm going to chain 3 and turn. We're skipping this first one and going into the second to do a double crochet and work our bead stitch around it. Again, make this loose. Don't want it too tight. There we go. Skip a stitch and do your double crochet. So you can see this can be simple as long as you keep your beads kind of loose. If not, it will be a little more difficult, but it is a fun stitch. I still tend to crochet a little tighter than what may need to be necessary for this, but I was able to get it done. Go. And it is a pretty fun stitch once you get going. I did like it in the varying colors, the self-striping yarn. There we go. But you can see it looks cute in a single color. You could make this into like a baby blanket. It would be really cute. You could add other colors in here or keep it a solid color or do some sort of varying yarn. I think I'm caught. Yep, I'm caught. If I can see it. No. See, I think that bead looks a little weird. So I'm going to undo it. Alright, a little looser. 2, 3, and 4. There we go. I think because I snagged the yarn, it's doing it again. There we go. Alright, so just be careful with your yarn. Alright, and here we go. So it does make a very straight edged design. I'll show you my example again. So very straight edge, as long as you don't use the turning chains. Probably look cute with a little border on it. Looks very similar on both sides. But I hope you enjoy this new stitch. Again, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment below, and have fun crocheting. I'll see you next time.